And this one, you know, oh my God.
You play Dr. Ryan Stone, an engineer that's on her first mission in space. How do you research for a role like that?
You really had to do a lot of your own homework. Physically, we had to research things, how the body works in space and doesn't work. Emotionally, we had to build a character. I was able to speak to an astronaut that was actually up in the ISS at the time and ask about body movement and things like that.
Were George Clooney and Sandra Bullock your first picks?
Pretty much. I mean, the process took 4.5 years. But the first 2.5 years we were just developing technologies in which we have a lot of informal conversations with a lot of people. But when we were ready to shoot, and we knew that we had a start date, Sandra and George were the people we went after, and we were very lucky that they accepted to do the film.
Okay.
We had a lot of specialists on the stage with us that helped us with the technology and the machinery. But for the most part, it was winging it. You get into the contraption and you figure out how to make yourself work the way that you need to work emotionally while being told exactly where to put your hands and body at every single second, while you're hanging from something or being flung around or having a camera thrown at your face.
Explorer, kommen! Explorer! Astronauten vom Shuttle getrennt. Dr. Stone ist vom Shuttle getrennt. Dr. Stone ausklinken.
What attracted you on this story, on this idea by your son?
Well, Jonas came with the concept of doing something that is very tight and in which you're at the edge of the seat from the get-go, but at the same time it's an emotional journey.
What fascinated you the most about the character of Ryan Stone?
That somebody could be so distraught and lost that she felt she had no place on Earth. That you get so disconnected and isolated because of a loss.
And then we come with the concept of the space, because the metaphorical possibilities that you get with space.
You know, what makes someone feel like it's not worth trying anymore? And what happens when they're faced with what they wish for, which is just to be left alone.
Okay.
And she's alone, absolutely alone. So just what makes a human being just dig and try one more time and knowing that they could either fail or that they might get help.
How difficult is it these days to find unique and original stories to direct?
Well, I tend to write my own stories. So, and you know, when you're writing or coming with a story, you're not thinking about if it's going to be unique or original. I tend to think just of what the film I want to do. And probably it's also the film I would like to see.
Okay. Making this film was very technically and involved a lot of mathematics and stuff.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't it get boring after a while for an actor?
Well, no, because at every minute you had to remember what was being asked of you, because if you didn't give them exactly the mathematical placement of your hand and the timing to hear, I'm horrible at math. So they would say, you know, they'd give me numbers and I go, stop with the numbers. Just tell me where you want me to start and where you want me to finish and show it to me and I will rhythmically figure it out.
Ich hab dich gleich. Ich hab dich gleich.
But I don't know how they did what they did, because everything was a mathematical equation to place what we shot into that scene. But that's why the experts were down on the ground doing what they did, and I was just floating up somewhere on a ceiling.
Are you a fan of space movies in general? And if so, is there a favorite one?
I wouldn't say I was a fan. I mean, there's some space films that I think are extraordinary. Kubrick, 2001, I remember when that came out. I love anything that makes an imaginary circumstance incredibly believable. And the fantasy of space is always there because you can play with the unknown. This is more realistic than the fantasy films of space that I've seen before. But when they're done well, I love them.
What is your next project?
I'm writing something with Jonas,
Okay.
who wrote Gravity with me. The only problem is that I'm waiting for him because he's directing his film, so now I have to wait for him.
Okay.